Hi guys, Suzanne HB here, Crazy Just Might Work on Instagram, and this tutorial is on the ring-in bracelet, which uses these 8mm jump rings. The centre is very similar to a tutorial I've just recorded, which is the just one row, and in that tutorial at the end I show you also how you can make this centre part, which is what you put your border on. In this instance, it's got a bit twisted there. It's been sitting around in my house. I think that should be like that. That's better. You wouldn't believe the number, well, you probably would believe the number of partly done things I have hanging around my house and partly finished, and loom bands and bracelets and whatever. Okay, so this is actually a really simple centre and then a really simple border going through those jump rings again. It's simply a leaf stitch border. That's it. It's you can see the pink is the leaf part, the purple is the stem, and it's just a leaf stitch border going into those parts of that jump ring. But because of the way the jump ring is sitting, you get this lovely effect where the jump ring sits nice and flat as circles along the top, which is actually something I've been aiming for quite some time. Always wanted to have something that had nice circles on it. So to start off, very simple, you just need your jump rings and bands. I find for these I'm demonstrating with limited edition. It is easier with limited edition, though I suspect it would work with any kind of band. Starting off with a cap band, grabbing a jump ring and putting it on the hook, pulling through like so, grabbing a hold of the jump ring and looping that loop over the hook again, attaching that band from that side. Now if you continue from this and do the same steps again, you've got the just one row. But for this one, we're going to take this band and hook it under so that the jump ring is off the hook, and we've only got one loop left on there between sections. Starting again, jump ring, band pulled through, hook the jump ring, take the loop over, grab the other side of the band and hook it under. So I'll do that. Very straightforward, this part. So through everything on the hook, grabbing the jump ring, looping that band over, just looping it over the top, grabbing hold of the other side, and then pulling that through. I'll just keep going till I've got a little section here that I can work on. So you can wear this middle part just as a bracelet by itself. It's very, very fine, but it does actually sit quite nicely on your wrist, and it can be worn that way, but it does wear better that way. A little bit fiddly just getting the band to go under that jump ring in the end, because if you're used to working with bands and you're a crochet person, you kind of want to do this, which you can do with this one to some extent. Bring that under there, lift that one over, and then you kind of pull down onto that so that it sits down into the hook so that you can, or push up on the ring so that you can slide it under. So you kind of just need to give it a little bit of room to get under there. Alright, so that'll be enough of a section, I think. I'll just finish that off by putting another band through and looping it. It won't stop it from running away, but it will give it a bit more of a tail so that it won't escape too much. Alright, so all we need to do with this is choose the colours we want on the border. I did a 2-colour border and I think that looked really nice. So what I might do is a yellow, so I think that looks nice and beachy. And what other colour can I do on here? I really should plan this before I start, shouldn't I? And maybe a black, just to be a bit striking. I haven't got many blacks on me at the moment. Okay, as I said, it's just a leaf stitch border, very, 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 very simple. So I'm going to use the, what shall I use? What do we reckon? I'll use the black instead of the purple, and then I'll use the yellow on the edge. So starting for the border, you want to have the cap band in open position, but you probably want to start with it the way that it should be facing, yeah, like that. Okay, so you want to start with it so that the top part of the jump ring is free, and you know that that's the side that you should be starting with. This side looks a little more knotted, so it's the side that looks a bit freer and the top part of the jump ring is free. We all learn from mistakes, definitely me. Okay, so you go up through that and do a leaf stitch. So if you're not familiar with leaf stitches, we're going to take the outside colour, in this case it was the pink, and that's going to be the leaf part of the leaf stitch. You put that on your hook, then you put the black, which is going to be the purple part, on top, go over the black, so you kind of release it once you've got them sitting like that, over the black, under the yellow again, so you form a loop with a free band off the end. Pull all of that through and reconnect. Now that is basically the only thing you're going to be doing on the border as well. So the next one, we're going to go from the back up through that part, that free part of the jump ring, so above these little cross pieces here, the blue that are coming across. So you don't want to go in here underneath those, you want to go into the top half, and you don't want to go through those blue bands either. You want to just pick up the jump ring like so, and then you just make another leaf stitch. So you can also do it if you don't put it on the hook first. You can put yellow, black over the top, and then just go under the yellow, over the black, under the yellow, grab a hold of it, pull that through everything, attach, and go to the next one. So we're going up to the next jump ring, going through that same spot, making a leaf stitch, another way to make that leaf stitch is to put the stem part on the hook and hook that yellow through. I just find that a bit more awkward while I've got the centerpiece on there, but it is possible. Pull that through, it's a little bit of a tight fit, make sure it goes through everything, reattach, and up to the next one, like so. So it will look a little wonky when you're doing the first side because it sort of pulls it to the side a little bit. It'll even out once you've done the border on the other side. So again, just making a leaf stitch, pulling it through. Now see how that's got twisted? This is a really interesting thing. Because it's so fine and it's only one band, you do need to make sure that you're dealing with the correct part of it. But if you just keep checking that the free part of the jump ring is at the top, then you won't go wrong. Leaf stitch. Pulling through everything. And up to the next one. And it can get a little stretched out because you've only got that one band and it's basically slip knotted through there. But I wouldn't worry about it too much, because when you get to do the other side, and then when you get to the end, you can just even those all out. It's really not problematic because you're only dealing with one band. Up through the next ring. Oh, leaf stitch. Pulling through everything. Reattaching. Like so. Couple more. We'll be at the end. I have to grab some more black bands to do the other side. Oops. There we go. Pulling through and up, and you can see that border forming there. So I can just see that that's twisted because it's not forming a nice smooth loop. So I'm just going to roll it round on itself a little and untwist it. Alright, so up to the last one, making sure I've got it around the right way. Oh, what is it doing? There we go. Like so. And pulling it through everything. Like so. And then for this last one, I haven't actually worked out how to close this, but what I would do is I would actually pull the back part of that, loop through everything that's on the ring like that and close it up. And when I get to the other side, I'll also put the back part of it on the ring and it'll finish it off. You can, if you want to, start with a cap band and a finishing band that match one of the border colours. That's your choice as well with your colours. Alright, so I'll hook that off. You can secure that with a C-clip, which is, you know, if you're doing the full length, you might want to do that because particularly LE bands like to run away. I can see this one's twisted because it's not sitting in a smooth line. So I'll just twist it back so that it's sitting more smoothly. Oh, it's doing a little wonky band on me. Anyway, it's something that we can fix up later. I just saw it and it was annoying me, so I thought I'd fix it. There we go. Alright, so now we need to do the other side. And this is one where I do it from the opposite direction. So you turn around and you've got the cap band at the top then. I am going to have to get some more black bands. Fortunately, I have bands stashed everywhere. So I've just rolled over to my stash. There we go. And back again. So in again. So you've still got that front part facing you, and the part that you've been through is the loose part. Now that shouldn't go anywhere now because it's been secured by that other side border. Alright, it's the same coming back this way, it's just that you're heading in the opposite direction to make sure that you're going up through from the back to the front. If we went this way, you get a completely different look. So we want to make sure to be symmetrical, you're taking it around the back and coming up the same way as we did on the opposite side, like so. And do your leaf stitch and pull it through. It can be a little awkward to pull it through, particularly on that first one, just from this angle. Once you get going, it's fine. Okay, so again, going from the back, coming up to the front, and leaf stitch, yellow leaf, black stem, pulling through, wiggling it around so that you can get that coming through. Like so, and reattaching. And it should look the same as the other side. Yay! So again, up to the next one, coming through. Oops. Doing a leaf stitch. Got less wiggle room when you're doing this side because that jump ring's already stuffed with bands. So we pull it through everything and reattach. Next one up through there. I really have been trying to make a design ever since I was designing on the loom a very long time ago, before I started doing hook-only designs. I was always looking for something where you could see circles facing the top. It was a bit of a challenge of mine, personal challenge to myself. So when I worked out how this one was going to work with a border, I was very happy. It's like a little personal milestone. Up to the last one, like so. I really like these colours actually. It looks a bit wonky, but we're just going to go back and give it a bit of a fiddle. It's a really easy fix because there are so few bands used in this and none of them are very tight. You can just kind of wiggle round, pulling that through to the back, and then as I said with this one, I'm going to slip these bands also onto the back loop. So the loop that's going through, those ones I'm also going to slip through, these ones. So that's one way of finishing it, which I think is okay for this one. You could also put a band through that side and a band through that side, and so like we could have this band. Let's just release those for a sec. This band could be on this side, the one we did originally, and then when we get to the top, we could have a band going through, also going through that last loop, and pick up another band like so, and you could finish it off like that if you wanted to. Have it looking a bit wider, and then put a C-clip through there. Now if you do it this way, the C-clip is going to be facing sideways and facing frontways, so it will have a slight twist in it, but you know, it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If you do it the other way, then the C-clip will be facing the same way for the cap band and the final band. So then we need to just go through and make sure that we have the bands sitting straight. So this is probably easiest done with another hook. But you've got your C-clip, which I haven't done. But you can just check and see that the bands aren't twisted, so this needs to come over there. That should be... Oh, that's why I've twisted up here, but that shouldn't be twisted. So straighten that out. And here again, one of them's disappeared, so we want to bring that forward like that. Bring those forward. So basically it's just bringing that band, oops, another band, but bringing those two center bands that are running through the jump ring. They got a bit squished as we've been making the border, just bringing those forward. And that just brings out the design again, like so. And then it looks all pretty. That's what it looks like on the back. And there you go. So that is the ring in. And hopefully this tutorial has been enough for you to be able to recreate it. I'd love to see your renditions, because that's really one of the best parts of being a designer, is seeing what other people can do with my designs once I put them out there. So it's a pleasure to be able to have the time and energy to make a tutorial. So I hope I get to see some of these on Instagram, Facebook. Please tag me and I will catch you later. Bye.